views and opinions expressed by the hosts or the guests do not state or reflect those of Forerunners and its management. Furthermore, the assumptions, views, opinions and insinuations made by the hosts or the guests do not reflect those of the show, the management and the organization.
Hi! Are you engaged and plan a wedding soon? Hindi ba pwedeng hintayin matapos muna ang pandemic? Good afternoon mga ka-WAIS Talkers! Kayo po ay nanonood ng WAIS Talk Live dito sa Facebook at YouTube. Naririto na naman po kami and let's be WAIS in planning weddings during this time of pandemic. I'm Gail Silang, ang inyong host today.
And I'm Billie Tiongson-Leus, ang inyong ka-WAIS Talker. Miss nyo na ba si Besh Maika? Actually, sadyang nag-request ako mag-co-host today because our special guest sa araw na ito ay malapit sa puso ko. Dahil buwan nga ng mga June brides, I wanted to interview my niece who got married during this time of pandemic. Alamin natin sa kanya, ano nga ba ang feeling ng kinakasal sa mga panahon na ito at anong mga klaseng preparasyon ang kailangan nilang paghandaan. But before I introduce her, para sa mga first-timers na nanonood ngayon, pag-usapan muna natin, what is WAIS Talk, Gail?
Yes! Ang WAIS Talk po ay project ng Higay Forerunners at gusto naming makapagbigay ng hope and encouragement, especially this time na may pandemya.
Yes, and because our title is WAIS Talk, we want to impart wisdom sa inyo, mga ka-WAIS Talkers, through our guest na WAIS. So, introduce ko na, Gail, ang ating special guest. Siya po ay aking pamangkin. At sabi nila, magkamukha raw kami. Inaanak ko pa yan sa binyag at kasal. At ka-birthday ko pa siya. So, let me call on Miss Billie Tiongson-Leus.
Yay!
Hi, unmute, Billie.
Hi.
Hi, Billie. Welcome to WAIS Talk. And would you want to greet, our mga ating kamag-anak, the Tiongson?
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Si mahihain daw tong si Billie, sabi niya.
Yes.
Okay, sige, Billie. Billie, I thought of you kasi June kasi is, di ba, it's called the June brides, di ba? A lot of people plan their weddings on June. But you did not get married on June. In fact, you even got married in a time of pandemic. So, pero before we talk about that, tell us, para sa mga ating mga viewers, tell us more about yourself and what do you do now?
Well, right now, I'm a housewife taking care of my 7-month-old baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But before that, before getting married, I was in PR and I was handling a lot of events and brand partnerships. So I used to help handle Nike, Netflix, Panda Express, a lot of things like that. So what I'm doing now is the complete opposite. So it's definitely a new season.
Yeah, and I'm sure yours, even you have to adjust to that life, but it's more fruitful life, right? More meaningful. Yeah.
Yes.
But did you do also mga wedding events?
Not wedding, more of brand and marketing.
All right, Gail.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Hi, Miss Billie. How did you meet your husband and what made you so sure that he's the one?
Oh my gosh. I met him in college actually. So, yeah, I met him from my best friend. We were common friends and she just introduced me in passing. And then from then, just Facebook friends, hi, hello. And then we both had other significant others during college. And then we just reconnected when we were working na. And it just so happened my office was right beside his office, as in the next building. Yeah, and we had the same dog. We had a schnauzer. So, dun kami nag-build ng rapport because of our dog. And same kami na taga Makati, Ayala Ave, yung office namin. So, yeah.
Wow. Parang meant to be talaga. How did you know po na he's the one?
Oh, don't usually get asked these questions, but I think it's when we found peace it's really the peaceful, quiet, and stillness when we're together. There's no drama, and we can just, be quiet together and hang out together. Na we don't have to make a show all the time, and we can just eat. It's like we really like our bondings of just going to the mall and mag-window shop lang kami. Or watching movies in the movie house before the pandemic. We would always watch like every month, and then um yeah, just the quiet moments na hindi kailangan in grande, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh, wow. I think, Miss Malu, no, yung meron silang parehong preferences na nagkiklik silang dalawa. Kasi pareha nilang gusto ng hindi nag-show off, ganyan. Ito lang yung
Yeah.
the way sila mag-date, which is
Mhm.
sa kanila, for them, ano na yun, yun na yung special moments nila. Miss
Yeah.
Malu.
Yeah, what I want to know, Billy, was how did your dad, my brother, how did he react when he found out that you are seriously involved in a relationship with Migo, and how was it like, the relationship
Mm.
before getting married?
Well, uh so I introduced him before we were even together because I knew my mom's prerequisite na she wanted to meet the guys I would date before maging kami. Just, get to know the family first. So before we were together, I asked him to go to Green Hills, join us for lunch and the movie. So I wanted them to meet him first. And then habang nagde-date kami, that's when I involved talaga my family. And he involved his family also. So my dad's reaction was very supportive. And my mom also, parang natuwa siya na, it's like, okay mom, this is me, go. Ganon. So I wanted to do it right because I feel like if this were going to be our future together, and our family is part of that future. So, I definitely wanted him to get to know my dad. So, one-to-one nga yung dad ko at si Migo rin before. They would have coffee and then they would do one-to-one, if you're familiar with that. So,
Mhm.
yeah, they also built their own relationship together without me. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, and I witnessed that. No, for those who are watching, si Billy is the daughter of my brother Randall Tiongson, the author and the speaker, ano ba yan, advocate of finance and family. So yeah, I know that si Randall would meet them and mentor, no, tama, no, he would also
Mhm.
mentor his future son-in-law. Napakaganda yun, no, mga kawaii stalkers. It would be good if you are dating somebody right now and you want to consider, elevating your relationship to, marriage. Mas maganda ma-build muna ng relationship ng boyfriend mo with your family and get to know each other before you seriously jump into that,
Mhm.
yung decision to get married. Kasi meron kasabihan, di ba, parang di ko naman pakakasalan pamilya niya. Bakit kailangan ng ano? But it's true eh. It's very important because you will see the values, no? Yung values ng pamilya. Kasi yun yung makikita mo rin sa asawa mo eh. Kung anong values ng pamilya niya, yun din ang dadalhin niya sa marriage eh. Di ba? Papasok nila yun sa marriage. Gail?
Yes, actually, I agree, no? Kasi parang, mismo, di ba, parang ano lang yan, ganito yung setup. Eh. Kung ano ka sa bahay, yung nangyayari. Say, for example, sa work, ito yung ginagawa ko sa work, nakikita nila eh. So that's very nice na nangyari kay Miss B. You know, it's a lesson for us, sa mga singles din, na we should involve our families. Yan. Thank you. And now po, Miss B, what made you decide to get married? Because part of this situation natin na may pandemic.
Well, it was a mutual decision, syempre. um, he, for my husband's point, parang he was like, why should we wait just so we can have a big wedding when the reason we're getting married would be to be together na. So, and actually, we've always wanted a small wedding naman talaga. We were never if you notice, if I mentioned earlier, simple lang kami. And even if it wasn't pandemic, we weren't going to do the whole grand thing. We really just wanted to focus on the the people we wanted to celebrate with which would be our family. So we were like, so yeah, why wait? And we can just be together na. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Billy, baka you wanna share, no? Kasi when you announced to us that you were getting married, parang ang bilis, di ba? Parang 2 months
Mhm.
lang you got married
Yes,
na.
2 months lang.
So what do you think is the difference of getting married in a time of pandemic and getting married ng hindi pandemic? Yung time frame
Mhm.
parang iba eh, di ba?
Yes.
Bakit ganun, Billy?
Well, it just the pandemic makes you realize about time and what's important in life, you know. So much happened, and then a lot of it makes you just find the importance of being together now, because before he proposed we didn't see each other for 3 months because of the lockdown. He lived in Makati and I lived in QC, so parang it also made you realize na life is short. And at that time, in the first lockdown, 'di ba, you don't know what's going to happen. Ano ba tong COVID na to? What's happening? And then you see people um losing loved ones and stuff like that. And then also we're not so young. He's 32 and I'm turning 31. So we're also like, and we've had a few years now of dating. So um what differentiates is it removes the frou-frou, if you know what I mean. The extra things that aren't needed. You know, my bachelorette, because that's also a part of the wedding. It's just really my closest friends and closest family. And then there are a lot of things in the wedding na parang extra. We were able to remove that and actually save a lot of money and focus on what's more important, which is the investment in the marriage rather than a one big party, you know.
I like that, no? It's best na to invest on the marriage, not on the wedding, no? So mga
Mhm.
kawaii stalkers, take note, no? Dapat yeah, we sometimes we see mga grand weddings, no? And then parang just a few years after, wala na, they're separated na. I remember back in the 80s. Tama ba 'yon? Tama, back in the 80s, 'di ba? There was alam mo yung 1988. It was yung 88 kasi for some very significant yung bilog daw na number, di ba? So they wanted to get married on August 8, 1988. So 8888, no? And ang daming weddings noon, en grande, and I've seen in the magazines no mga en grande. And after a while you find out that they are separated, no? So I like that, Billy, that you gave wais nga eh, di ba? Wisdom po yan, mga kawaii stalkers, that invest on your marriage, not on your wedding. Yan. Say, Gail?
Yes. But before that, Miss Malena, before I ask another question, kasi meron akong gustong itanong kay Miss Billy eh. Ayan, I would like to say hi to Micah. Yeah, I know she's single. Mrs. Ayan, kay Miss Mia Chongson. Hello po. Miss Bernice Chongson Kasunuran. Hello po sa inyo. Miss Des Santos. Hi, Ate Des. Thank you for watching. And Ate Cathy Solarta. Thank you po for watching. Ayan, Miss Billy. Since merong mga singles na nanonood sa atin, I would like to ask you po, yung qualities na nakita mo dun sa husband mo na pwede mong i-recommend for single women to look for in a husband to be.
Okay. Well, syempre number one would be his relationship with the Lord. Because it always all leads back to that. And then number two would be, is he a hard worker? Is he good with the family? How does he treat his family, and how does he treat his mom and his dad, or especially his parents also? Um, Actually, even how does he treat the mga kuyas and ates when you see when he passes by? Because that speaks a lot about his personal values, which again, all leads back to his relationship with the Lord rin. So the way he lives and what comes out of his mouth. So yun nga, yung relationship nga niya. Sorry, but I think that's the number one thing. about the qualities that you should find in a husband, because it can really differ. So if you want to find someone who's sporty, or someone who's musicero or something like that, or um, it can be really different. But at the end of the day, it's about how he values his relationship and how he builds on that and how he lets it grow. Hindi lang siya parang, okay, I've met the Lord, this is it na. But then how he brings it towards his relationship with you, how he reflects on that with how he treats you and his family. So,
Oh, wow. Kasi parang ang dali-dali mo sabihin na, ano eh, okay, I have relationship with the Lord. Pero iba kapag nakikita mo. Iba yung nakikita mo yung relationship niya. Wow. Thank you, Miss Billie.
it leads back to his actions.
Yeah.
His actions
yes.
also.
Thank you, Miss Malu.
Yeah, I like that, no? You need to walk your talk kasi 'di ba it's caught, 'di ba? Not taught. Nakukuha natin through the actions. You can see the sincerity, you see the true the heart of that person through the actions, 'di ba? Yeah. So, Billy, para dun sa mga nanonood, no, we have a place here in Quezon City na meron kaming rooftop, no, and dyan kami nagkakaroon ng parang salo-salo magpamilya. Hindi naman ganun kalaki, pero Billy had her wedding there. So Billy, how did you do that preparation? Ano nga ba, if it's going to be a wedding during a time of pandemic, what are the do's and don'ts?
Okay. Well, being in events talaga before, it was easier for me. It came natural. But what helped me and what I tell other people is I have top 3 non-negotiables to make this wedding, for me. So number 1 would be good food. So if you narrow down, kasi ang dami kailangan i-plan talaga sa wedding, but I narrowed it down to 3. So number 1 is good food, because a celebration the food makes a celebration, you know what I mean? Kung hindi masarap yung food, medyo ganun yung event nyo. And then number 2 would be a good photographer, because your photos will be forever. So mas prioritize ko yung photographer over video, although I did get a really good videographer also from church. But then photographer kasi you're gonna keep those photos forever. So you're gonna have it displayed in your new home. You're gonna show your kids in the future, and like that. And then the third would be event set up. So I want it, since it's gonna be in our home, I want it to be different, to look different, to transform it talaga. So yeah. So for my advice for other people is to narrow down your 3 or 5 non-negotiables, and it will be easy not for you to plan after that.
Yeah, and of course, Billy, it was a Christian wedding, right? So it was very convenient that we can have it at home. Kasi allowed yon, di ba? Allowed. And buti na lang we were not limited to attend. Kasi remember, your sister's wedding, only 10 people were allowed to attend the ceremony.
Yeah.
So kami nakasilip lang kami doon sa mga pintuan kasi bawal kami talaga pumasok. But with Billy's wedding, it was more lenient. So there were like, how many people were we, Billy? Mga 40?
30 guests, and siguro 40 kasama na photographer and waiters and stuff.
Yeah. And I honestly, I really loved the wedding kasi it was so small lang. It was very intimate, no, yung pag malitang wedding. Unlike big weddings kasi, you have so many guests but you don't really get to talk to them. Ang nangyayari, picture taking, table 1, picture taking, table 2, picture taking. Pero with the small wedding, you're able to engage with everyone. Very intimate yun. Yeah. Gail?
Yes, wow. Okay, meron po ditong question ng ating isang viewer, si Ate Des Santos. Ang sabi niya po ay, ano po ang masasabi niyo kapag nagpakasal muna sa City Hall before church wedding? Kasi pandemic.
Billy, what do you think about that? Kung did you ever consider that mag-ano muna kayo? What do you call this? Yung wala, yung legal muna, wala muna yung church wedding.
No, I didn't consider that because for me, personal choice namin would be to have the church wedding talaga. To be married by the church. That was more important to me than the legalities of it all. So, but it's a personal choice and it depends on you. So if it's more, if you need talaga, yeah, basta it's in agreement with your husband and future husband pala.
Mm-mm. Yeah, ako siguro ang sagot ko dyan is um, you want to be blessed by God, di ba? When you get married in church, you make that covenant not only with your husband but with God also. So you get the blessing, di ba? There's a blessing from the husband, from God. There's a blessing from your parents and his parents, and there's a blessing also from everyone, your family, no? Unlike pagka sa City Hall lang, parang napaka impersonal, parang walang intimacy, no? Parang it was just, wala lang, pirmahan lang, no? Yeah. How about you, Gail? Would you want a wedding like that?
At my age now, hindi ko po talaga siya kinonsider, ever. Sorry, pero hindi ko po talaga kinonsider. I'm dreaming na sa, church. Yan. Sorry, never. Hindi ko po siya
So, Billy, what do you think is, how can a marriage, we know that there is no perfect marriage, di ba? And because we are all imperfect people, di ba? But marriage can be successful. What so far from your experience, what do you think are the good things that you are seeing in your relationship that can you think is will contribute to a successful marriage?
Well, after every argument or fight, we get to we listen to each other. That's what I feel like is important now in my only 2 years of marriage. So definitely, I'm not yet ano, I'm still new to being married, and it's a learning process. But then, it's definitely you have to listen talaga to your partner and how he feels and or how she feels. Na sometimes you don't understand it yourself because we're both raised in different households. We grew up differently and stuff like that. But you have to listen with an open mind and heart. And it goes back to, I remember after every fight, I always pray talaga. Ano, parang hindi ko siya maintindihan. But magpa-pray na lang ako because hindi ko siya talaga maintindihan. So, and then after that, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm much more calmer and much more okay. I listen to what he says. Because you know how some people say na the wife is always right or something like that. I don't believe in that. Because it's definitely dapat both of you, and then sometimes both of you can be right, both feelings are valid, and you have to learn how to navigate that by listening and by prayer, and then just being still also sometimes so that's what I've learned in my 2 years pa lang. Yeah.
That's true, no? Listening is key talaga, no? Kasi sometimes it happens, no, between husband and wife. Uh, you're both right. It's just that hindi nagmi-meet. You know, you don't meet eye to eye. You're meeting this way. May point siya, may point ka. Pero how do you resolve that? And I think ang pinakamagandang doon talaga for ating wife, sabi mo nga, Billy, you pray na lang. And you submit, di ba? You submit because God calls all wives to submit to the husband. And it's liberating, di ba? When you submit kasi, it frees you from being blamed. Kung mali yung, let's say, nasunod yung opinion ni husband, so pinagbigyan mo, if he's wrong, then you are spared from being blamed. You're, di ba, hindi ka mananagot, di ba? So in a way, it's liberating when you submit it. And of course, syempre, you are pleasing the Lord when you are submitting to your husband. So now, Billy, you're understanding what it means to submit, ha? Submit without grumbling, no? Without grumbling.
Yes, to submit dapat wholeheartedly, hindi because you're forced or because it's what the Bible says, but it's because you want to, and you know that the Lord wants you to.
Yeah. Why do you think women struggle with submission?
I think because they don't really fully understand what submitting means. I remember this really good service I attended by Pastor Manny Carlos. He said something, submitting doesn't mean you lose your voice or that you have no say anymore or that you have lost your independence. Submitting is surrendering to Jesus because Jesus is in the middle of your relationship. So it doesn't mean na hindi ka na strong woman. You're a strong woman by submitting and by surrendering that, and and so I feel like a lot of women don't understand the true meaning of submission. But then I hope that they do once you get married kasi that it's more evident na parang, oh, I'm so there's this situation, I'm voicing it out and then my husband is listening to my inputs. But then syempre to submit to that, mas natural siya because I understand what the Lord's submission really means.
Yes, and it brings harmony, right? When there is submission, no. I remember this book, Love and Respect, di ba? Kasi respect and submission, they go together, di ba? So when wives respect and submit to the husband will love back the wife. And as he loves back, you submit more. And as you submit more, the husband loves more, di ba? So it becomes a cycle, di ba? But once you stop submitting or stop respecting, the husband withholds din the love, no? So nagiging crazy cycle din siya, no? So yan, mga ka-wise talkers, at mo, sa 2 years pa lang nilang kasal, marami nang natututunan. And I'm seeing you how you are maturing, Billie. Ganun talaga, no? Part of getting married is God matures you through your circumstances, through your husband, and through your children. Gail?
Yeah. Well, ito may sinabi si Quiz Jules, no? Sabi niya, sorry, si Sir Gabi. Oh, ito po yung guest natin last time, si Miss Gabi Tiongson-Leus. That's such a good point. Submitting is surrendering to Jesus. Oh, that's so beautiful. And also, Quiz Jules has a question here. What is the greatest challenge that you've faced as a couple so far, and how did you overcome it?
Hala. Parang we're so young pa for the greatest challenge, no? Parang wala pa. Well, we have little challenges, finding a home, mga ganon. But as of now, I don't think we have the biggest challenge yet because we're so young in our marriage pa. Wala pang 2 years pala, 1 year and a half. Yeah.
Okay. Can you give us siguro kahit isang challenge para sa mga nakikinig natin, mga ka-wise talkers?
So, oh my gosh.
Kahit yung simple, for example, umuwi, ba't di ka umuwi na ganitong oras?
Siguro, the challenges of having a baby, yun talaga. It's a big thing, we had a baby. I was pregnant 3 months after I got married. So it just came like, oh, surprise, may baby ka na. The challenge would be that I had to learn how to stay at home because I'm a workaholic before, always working. And then now I'm at home and taking care of my baby full time while my husband works full time. So the challenge there would be na medyo naloloka ako and I bring it out to him. No, parang, oh my gosh, he gets to go to work and, and see other people outside and I'm just at home. And if you know me, that's kind of hard, especially, hard for me. So, nasusungitan ko siya and stuff like that because when he gets home, he gets to rest. I'm a mother, there's no rest. There's no, like, if you're breastfeeding pa and all of that. So, the challenge would be that I needed to be more patient because he's very understanding to my kasungitan. I had to be more patient also. And the challenge would be also for him to communicate that he's also sacrificing by going out there to work. And we had to communicate na we both have different roles, but the roles are equal for our family.
Wow. Miss Malu, ang isang ina talaga, talaga to. Hindi madali.
Hindi madali talaga. And sabing people think, no, parang when you are a housewife, parang parang tingin mo parang yung nabibelittle yung role natin as but actually it's for me, I was also a workaholic like Billy before, pero nung naging housewife ako, it's very fulfilling pala kasi you see your children are so happy na nakakasama ka mas maraming you build relationships kasi pagka So Billy, thank you so much. Ang ganda ng iyong sharing and what do you think if I were to ask you, what do you think is the pinaka-important na a husband and wife should have in a relationship? What is the most what you need so that your marriage will stay together?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty easy to say. It should be that we should each have our own personal relationship with the Lord before we get married. And then when we get married, we should be bringing that relationship together. If you yung ganon. So parang dapat he has his own time with the Lord, I have my own time, and then we have to bring that together. And we have to join that and be as one as our household is. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's a secret that's not a secret, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people know that, pero to actually let it happen in your marriage is also difficult, no? Kasi basically we're selfish, di ba? We think about ourselves. And naalala ko as you were sharing that, naalala ko yung how when you get married, di ba, you light a candle each and then you join together and light one candle, no? So that means oneness, di ba? And today, you know how sad kasi marriages today is no longer oneness. Parang it's all about it's you and it's me. Parang wala nang us, di ba? And it's just about respecting each other's na lang. If I want to do this, you respect me. I'll do whatever you want and I'll respect you. Ganon. Pero yung togetherness and exercising sacrifice, you di ba nagsasacrifice ka for each other. Parang today, marriages are not like that eh. But mostly parang it's what they can make them happy instead of make the family happy. So ako yun lang na ko today, nagbabago rin yung values ngayon ng marriage. No? And it's true, Jesus has to be in the center of every marriage. Kasi otherwise talagang we're all bound to fight, di ba? We're bound to have conflicts because we're raised in two different ways, sabi nga ni Billy eh. We are raised differently and then you bring those excess baggage into the marriage, di ba? So, ang nangyayari, conflict, di ba? Pero what's nice is, conflicts naman will always happen. Pero because Jesus is there, nare-resolve yung conflict. No?
Yeah.
So, is there any, Billy, you have any words of encouragement for those who are listening to us right now? Maybe they're considering getting married during this time of pandemic. Do you suggest to do it na now? Do not wait for the pandemic to end. And what kind of preparations, emotionally, spiritually, should they make?
Well, first of all, you need to pray about this first because the timeline. Me and my husband really relied on God's perfect timing because our siblings got married ahead of us. Kami yung medyo late. So, but then we prayed about it first na parang ngayon na ba? Ngayon na, okay, let's do it na. And when you pray about something like your life like this, there's a certain peace and calm that comes with it. So, as I was planning this pandemic wedding, because we prayed about it, it wasn't stressful. You know how there are people who na parang bridezilla? I don't think I was bridezilla. I was very calm and happy with planning it. And even if it was just 2 months. So within the 2 months of the proposal to the wedding, I wasn't just planning the wedding. I was also looking for a condo to move into. And so nag-review kami and stuff like that. So those other factors. But because you prayed about it and you have peace with it, hindi siya stressful. You know what I mean? It's a lot of tasks, a lot of like, medyo ang daming nangyayari, pero hindi siya burdensome, is what I mean.
Yeah. And and of course we acknowledge that it's coming from the peace that comes from Jesus, no? The peace that transcends all understanding. Kasi when you have God's blessing and you have the blessing of the parents, importante. Billy, how important is the blessing of the parents to you?
Oh, the most important. Which is why I introduced Migo, my husband, before we were together. Before kami naging boyfriend-girlfriend. Because I wanted my parents' blessing talaga. And I wanted to do it right. So it's very important. And because of that, I feel like the Lord blesses you also. Because your parents pray for your marriage. My parents prayed for a good spouse for me. And, kaya it became like a happy beginning. Hindi siya happy ending. Happy beginning siya.
Yeah, very nice, no? So there are good things that can come out of pandemic weddings, Gail.
Yeah. Yeah, this is no, a good tip and lesson sa akin. And for sure sa mga kawaii stalkers natin no, na mga nag-iisip magpakasal or yung merong nagpupursue sa kanila. Thank you, Miss Billy. And meron po nakita dito yung comment ni Miss Liza. Sabi niya, we are imperfect beings, but we have a perfect God. Wow, this is so ganda ng comment ni Miss Liza, no? And I agree with this. Miss Billy, would you like to pray for our kawaii stalkers who is nasa ganitong sitwasyon?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try my best. I'm mahihain nga, diba? But I'll try my best. Lord, I pray for all the men and women out there who are planning or have plans of getting married, Lord God. I pray that you talk to them and then you give them the peace and the grace to navigate this new season in their lives, Lord. And I pray that you show them, that you take away the fear, because there are a lot of fears in marriage, the biggest commitment. And I pray, Lord, that you comfort them and then you guide them and then you help them they're in their relationship. And I pray, Lord, also that um you speak to them and that they each have personal relationships with you and that they seek you individually, Lord. I pray for their future households and their future partnerships, Lord. And I pray, Lord, that you continue to be with them and just present yourself to them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, amen. Thank you, Billy. Alam mo, may pahabol ako, Billy. Meron akong isang hindi natanong. What about finances? How important is talking about money in the marriage? Pahabol, sorry ah.
Okay lang. It's very important because syempre before you get married, you have your own way and he has his own way. But like with what happened to us is syempre I submitted to his way because it's the more superior way. Taga-bangko siya eh. So even if I grew up in a finance household with my dad as my role model, I submitted to his way. And it's actually, and to do that, you have to talk about it. So what we did was we had to set a monthly budget and we had to, for him, kasi for him, you have to get to know your husband and what makes him relax about, because they have the burden of providing it. And you have to be there to help him also relax na, okay, I got this part, which is to take care of the house, and you have that part of providing. So for him to relax na, okay, the money is going to the right amount, I made na lang a spreadsheet. Because that's his way of calming down eh. So you have to find a way for your husband also to, relax rin. Kasi ang dami rin nilang iniisip. So I made a spreadsheet na, okay, so this is how much I need for diapers, the grocery, the dog, ganon. And then this is how much. And then I also have another spreadsheet of what I'm using. So, for some, kasi I wasn't used to doing that eh. But I had to learn how to do that because that's what will help him. I had to make it, we have to be easy on each other also. and listen to what each other needs. So that's my compromise, and his compromise is, okay, I'll give you this amount because that's how much you need for the house to function.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like
Miss
that.
Malu, I'm learning.
Yeah, maganda talaga. It's good to discuss this with your husband and your husband, future husband, no? Kasi money is often cause of conflicts in relationships. And I like what Billy said, no? You make it easy for them because the fact that they are already the breadwinner of the family is already such a big burden, di ba? So, make it easy for them. Kaya nga, we are to be helpmates, di ba? Helpmates, yun ang ibig sabihin. Hindi po tayo demanding, kasi some wives can be so, entitlement. I'm your wife, you're supposed to provide for me, ganyan. Tapos, what I earn is mine, what is yours is mine, di ba? Yung lumalabas yung selfishness natin. Yeah. So, ito po yung magandang tip at ano lang po ito, pasilip lang po sa susunod naming mga episodes. We will be having an episode on marriage and money. Kasi alam ko, magandang pag-uusapan dahil sa madalas na nagiging pag-aaway ng mag-asawa. In fact, minsan yun pa ang reason para magkahiwalay. No? So thank you so much, Billy. Thank you for accepting our invitation. I am proud of you. You have been married for 2 years. Wala pang 2 years yet. You have grown and matured, not just emotionally, mentally, but also spiritually. So praise God for you, and regards to me. Go see you later.
See you later.
Yeah.
Ayan, Miss Malu, gusto ko yung yung sinabi ni Ate Cathy, relate sa spreadsheet. Ayan. Yung mga bago sigurong kasal, spreadsheet really helps.
Yeah. Kaya Katrina Chung Solarta, ikaw ang next naming speaker, kaya be available.
Ayan na.
Yeah. So,
Ayan,
sige, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Miss Billy. Ayan. Natatapos na naman ang isang episode ng WAIS Talk. Thank you for joining us. At kung meron po kayong mga questions, PM nyo lang po sa Facebook namin at sa YouTube namin. At yan, kung kayo po ay nagpaplano magpakasal sa panahon ngayong pandemya, sana marami po kayong napulot na kaalaman from our WAIS speaker na si Miss Billy. At ayan, I'm Gail Silang, ang inyong ka-WAIS Talker.
Thank you. Thank you so much, mga ka-WAIS Talkers, for joining us. And Billy, you are ang dami mong wisdom na for such a young age, and I'm sure yung ating mga viewers dito and even our relatives who are watching have learned a lot from you. If you enjoyed our episode today, panoorin nyo rin po yung mga iba naming episodes sa YouTube at saka sa Facebook, at siguradong marami po kayong mapupulot na aral, wisdom at kaalaman. Abangan nyo po yung series namin on June Brides, no? Yung last week, kung na-miss nyo po yung last week natin, yung love, marriage, and family. Today, yung ating pandemic weddings. Next week naman po ang aming marriage and money. Yan. At meron pa po kami yung mga prenuptial agreement. Nako, abangan nyo po lahat yan. Kung kayo po ay kakasal, kailangan mapanood nyo muna ang aming mga episodes. No? So, Gail, handang-handa ka na. Pwede
yeah. I'm learning, Miss Malu. This is a nice topic.
Yeah, it's so good, no? So, sana merong ganyan ng panahon namin.
Hindi ba
back in the 80s, wala pong ganyan. Wala kaming alam about marriage. We just jump into the marriage without understanding yung role talaga namin, no? So, hanggang sa muli, ako po si Billie Tiongson-Leus, and we are the Forerunners! Bye!